Good, John. How are you? I'm feeling really short right now.
I'm trying to adjust my phone here.
How how you doing?
Good,
Good to see you.
man. Yeah,
Good to
good
see-
to see you too.
All right. And there, I'm kind of in frame. There I am. Awesome. John, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm really happy to see you. I'm really excited that festivals and conventions are all coming back to Brooklyn. I was a native-born Brooklynite, so I'm really glad to see, not just the big shows, not just New York Comic Con, not these, and pardon the term here, but these monstrous shows that at this point, and I am going to attend New York Comic Con, but in many ways, it's kind of lost a little bit of its soul, a little bit of what made it special. Uh, so it's great to see these kinds of shows coming back to Brooklyn. And I have to ask, I mean, Brooklyn's been through so much. Why kaiju's? What have we done? What have we done to deserve this?
Oh well, kaiju exists to punish humanity. Don't you know that? Uh,
Yes,
well, I guess to give some background, I'm a huge kaiju fan, obviously, obsessed with Godzilla, Ultraman, as well as comic books when I was a kid. Comics, Godzilla, kung fu stuff. Um, but I got into kaiju stuff, at a pretty young age, and then got older, and I used to buy all the toys and stuff. You get
hmm
older, and you go to college, you discover girls, you know, you kind of forget about it for a little while. So I was just, focusing on my career and just not really paying attention to kaiju stuff. Um, I mean, I was, but there wasn't much coming out,
sure.
let's just say. So all we really had were Ultraman shows, which I watched, of course, but there wasn't a lot of access like there is now. So I think when the Legendary movie came out in 2014, that sort of reignited my interest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah, and I think it reignited a lot of people's interest. So I started doing fan art of Godzilla posters. So basically, I would take a movie like Godzilla vs. Mothra. Actually, I'm sorry, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster was the first one I did a fan art poster for because their original posters were they were all out of like cut and paste,
Hmm.
60s, 70s. So I did it and I got a lot of really great feedback from people and got published in a magazine. And I said, okay,
Next.
let me keep going with this. And someone said, you should try the Godzilla convention in Chicago with your artwork. I said, sure. And I did it and sold out by Sunday.
What
Sold out
what
of
is
all
that? Is
my.
that G
That
Fest?
is G Fest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool.
So it was great, and I had a great reception. My buddy of mine said, "Hey, I live in Orlando, and there's some big conventions down here. Why don't you come stay with me? We'll do MegaCon." I said, "Great." So I did MegaCon. I did really well, and this went on from 2015 up until 2019. Every year I was doing kaiju art and doing shows and making more and more money. And it was great. New York Comic Con, Anime NYC, all the big shows. When COVID hit, that put a damper on all of us, right? Couldn't really do
Right.
much with conventions. Started doing commissioned work, but then I started rethinking, you know, what am I doing with conventions? Like, what does an artist do at a convention? I mean, I have friends that go around the country doing shows, and it's exhausting, especially if you're married or you have a mortgage or whatever. It gets kind of hard to do that. So I came to a point in doing conventions where I said, I'm going to do a show. Like if I'm going to go to a show to sell at, it's got to be a good show, and I have to be able to make good connections there. So I started focusing on, more, you know, industry savvy shows like Son of Monsterpalooza, Anime NYC, New York Comic Con are always good ones.
Oh yeah,
And
great ways to meet people in the industry for sure.
yeah, and I've got a lot of really great friends on the convention circuit that I'm friends to this day. So I'm really happy that my life went that route because now, guys in their 30s, most people in their 30s have a harder time meeting friends. So,
No,
um,
I agree. It's definitely a great way to connect, great way to meet people.
right,
Especially, thank goodness the internet has made finding like-minded people a whole lot easier.
right.
So if you're into Godzilla, if you're into kaiju movies, anime, whatever it is, it's a lot easier now to make those connections. And the cons are a great way to then meet those people in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. So what happened was, it was around the last year I started getting this inkling to do my own show. And I can't remember how the idea got started. I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember that's when I started thinking about it because I wanted to do something uh, at like a local venue. I wanted to do something. We've done these kaiju movie screenings at Japan Society, and they very nicely have let me and my friends set up our tables there, and the response would be unbelievable. And every time I've done a New York show like Comic Con or Anime NYC, I mean, I make more money there than when I do the Godzilla show, and you would think it would be the opposite. But so I knew that there was a market over here. I mean, it's New York, like there's a market for everything here, but most of the kaiju fans are on both coasts as well as the Midwest, the South, Southwest, Southeast, whatever. But I knew there was a market for it because New York used to have a Godzilla convention. In fact, G-Fest used to be, it started in New York, and I remember going to it years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I didn't know.
so that was like in the 90s. Yeah, that was back in the 90s at the New York Hotel.
Yeah.
Then there was a friction between the owners, and they split up, and they made G-Fest. Um, so are you familiar with Industry City at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've actually really enjoyed watching it develop over the last few years. I remember as a child, if I went down to that part of the neighborhood, you were taking your life into your own hands.
Right. Yeah.
And to see it just become what it is today, it's amazing. Actually, I'm going to be hitting two festivals uh, within probably a week of each other in the same spot. I'll be October 1st. I'll be there for the Hot Sauce Expo, and then on the 7th, I'll be there for Brooklyn Kaiju or Kaiju Brooklyn.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that day they're gonna have a
Oh,
ton of festivals going up. Yeah.
I saw your recent announcement about the move in screening to coincide with the kind of to be a good neighbor, and
Right.
that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
I
part
mean,
of it,
yeah. In retrospect, I mean, it is the perfect venue to show that movie.
right?
But no, there was just a situation with the powers that be at the Industry City where they booked our event, and then 2 days later they brought in an events team, but there was a miscommunication. I don't want to get too much into
Right.
details, but there was just a miscommunication, and they booked our courtyard for some big event. So we were scrambling, and Japan Village came in at the last second. It's like, oh, we have the sake festival. We were like, of course, but they said, but it'll be over by 7, and if you guys need, we could originally said 7:30, and then we said, hey, we want to show our movie at 7:30, and they said, yeah, we'll help you guys out. So thank God for them coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean, that's a cool thing. I mean, yeah, miscommunication happens all the time. At least, you can chalk it up to it was certainly not done with ill intent, and people were just trying to accommodate maybe a little too much. That's a great problem to have. Maybe that there's maybe too much going on in industry city, but that's another issue altogether.
right.
But at least I think at this particular point and this particular time with the festival, considering how much time there is to the event, I think everything kind of worked out beautifully with the
Oh
adjustment
yeah,
in schedule.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
that gives credit to you as well for being able to. A lot of people wouldn't have the wherewithal to kind of to bounce back from any kind of obstacle, and you did a great job. And I was reading the announcements today. I'm like, okay, even more of a reason to see more of what's going on in Industry City and hang out with a lot more people and have a lot of fun.
right. Well, I'd like to also that a lot of that has to do with my partner Anthony Marino of Brooklyn One Productions,
Oh yeah,
which I was slowly getting there. I kind of jumped the shark a little bit or jumped ahead, but so I've been trying to do something with Japan Village for a while, but I just could never get in touch with them, and I wanted to just like set up a table and sell my artwork. All while this was going on in my brain, I happened to get the license to make Ultraman T-shirts, so it's officially licensed Ultraman shirts. And I got it late last year, and I started making the shirts this year, and I was freaking out because I had no shows booked earlier in the year. And I said, I need to sell these shirts. Like, what am I going to do? I have the license. I want to take advantage of it. And I did a few Japanese street festivals, and it went really well, but I wanted to do something else. So I've been trying to pitch this to Japan Village, and a good friend of mine, Rob Trauma, he works in Industry City. He works at Federa Guitars. Great friend of mine. He said, "Hey, my friend Anthony Marino just got a performance space called Brooklyn One Productions downstairs, and if you want to meet him, I could put you in touch with him." So he put us in touch, and I went to go meet him, and I pitched him the idea, and I said, "Let's collaborate on putting on a kaiju show," and he said, "Yeah, let's do it." And that's pretty much how it got started. I mean, I was thinking maybe we'll do something in the spring, but Anthony wanted to do October, and I said, oh shit, okay. So it's like late July, and then he's sort of hit the ground running, and
Oh
I had
wow.
all the vendors. Yeah, I had all the vendors booked in like 24 hours, and then it was just a matter of you know locking in the screening, locking in the exact time, and
Right.
selling the tickets.
And when you say screening, you're referring to Shin Ultraman, right? You're gonna be screening Shin Ultraman then?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was we're excited about that because it's a little scene movie. I want to say it's not that it's a little scene. It's just it's only on DVD. It's not on streaming. Whereas you can find a lot of the other newer kaiju movies on streaming.
Okay.
So I wanted to show something that people have seen but aren't watching over and over. Like we could have gone with a Godzilla movie, but it's been getting so much play on Pluto TV.
Oh
It's
yeah.
kind of like what's the point? But I know Anthony is looking to jump on soon, so when he
Oh
jumps in,
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love to
Please.
like have him come on. But so that's the genesis of Kaiju Brooklyn, and Anthony's been a dream to work with, and
Okay.
Brooklyn One Productions are awesome, and the space is unbelievable, and as Industry City, it's amazing.
It
So
really is.
if people come, if like people come to the show and they're waiting online, or they look in and they see it's kind of packed, they could be like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a drink right across the hall because Frying Pan is gonna do kaiju themed drinks. They could go get ramen at Japan Village. They can go get sake at
Oh
Japan Village.
yeah.
They can go get brunch at Sahadi's. I mean, there's so much else to do there besides like not besides Kaiju Brooklyn, but basically if people get in a log jam or people you know
Hmm.
they feel, like I said, they feel it's busy. It's like, oh, let's go get blitzed and
No,
go Godzilla to us.
that works too.
Yeah,
That works too.
yeah,
Little alcohol and impaired judgment and a credit card. It's
yeah. It works
good. But
in our favor.
I will tell you, I grew up with kaijus myself. My dad introduced me to monster movies. I mean, we used to do the marathon. You're a fellow New Yorker, so you probably grew up watching like Channel 11
Oh yeah,
before it was
yeah,
WB and CW, and they would play the Godzilla movies and King Kong movies, Money Joe Young, all on like Thanksgiving or New Year's Day or whatever it may be, and
right,
just addicted to it. Just so much fun.
yeah.
Brought back great memories watching with my dad. Uh, and now I do the same thing with my own sons. We watch the movies. I like you. I tapped out for a few years, college years in the '90s. So,
Yeah.
BK1. There you go.
Yeah, let's let
Uh,
him in.
all right. Let's see. I will add him in. Don't know how to do it. I already forgot how to do that. How do you add someone? I'm gonna see if that worked. Uh, BK1 Productions. That's Anthony. So Anthony, if you want to, I think I sent you an invite, but if not, oh, there it is. Okay. If not, send me one. All right. Let's see. Well, as Anthony's coming in, I hope I hit the right. Oh, there.
There he is.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Anthony, I think
Good.
your ears must have been ringing because he was just singing your praises, saying great things about you and how you guys have been working together to make this Kaiju Fest happen here in Brooklyn. So thank you guys. Thank you both for working together on that. It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's been an absolute blast. I have to say I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I'm so happy. John is just amazing, and I've learned so much about these types of events and how to throw them, and to have a space to bring this community together. After there not being an event like this in so long, we're just so happy to host it. So happy.
And we're happy you're hosting it because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Brooklyn needs something like this, and I think Industry City is a great place for it. So now we got to get BK1 Productions working on a nice comic fest, Comic Con of some kind.
I mean, we're right next door to St. Mark's Comics.
I know.
mean,
St. Mark's is my friend Pat and I absolutely love it. So I'm glad that Industry City is the whole. I was saying to John that I'll be there on the 1st for the Hot Sauce Expo, and coming back a week later for the Kaiju Fest. So a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's great is you're going to come to the Kaiju Brooklyn, and like there's 20 other things.
Right.
You can come to the con. There's bars. Japan Village is having a sake fest. I mean, there's so much going on. You get good food. So come for the con. Come say hi. Come hang out. Go grab some food. Come back. Go back and forth. It's going to be, we're not isolated. We've got a huge community of really cool things to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was the appeal for me because me and my wife, we're only 5 minutes from Industry City here in Bay Ridge, and we've been going there for a long time. And the appeal is that it's a really cool place, right? Because I could have rented some warehouse in Bushwick, but it's Bushwick, and it looks like New York from the '70s up there. And there's no parking, and there's nothing else to do. I mean, there's things to do in Bushwick, but it's still a very residential area. In Industry City, there's so many cool things going on in there. You know, that's what made me really excited. It was just the timing of everything. It was just everything falling into place when it needed to. And like Anthony getting the space, me wanting to do the show, the writer's strike shutting down my whole industry, that gave me plenty of time to do this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's sort of one of those serendipitous things where it's like, okay, I have no job now, which is fine because I've been out of work longer with COVID, but now we're creating something that we can do every year, basically. So that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. We have a lot of, I don't know where the feedback's coming from, but is that me? Or?
It might be you.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say we're just really happy too because like you know, we're a production company. We do a lot of theater. You know, we do a lot of music events. We have a lot of punk shows. We're building that community up.
Nice.
You know, we've done film screenings, and this is just like it was just kind of a perfect thing like to add to the all the sorts of things that we do. Like now we can host these kinds of events. Like bring it on. This is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like it's perfect. Like,
So is the plan to make this an annual event at Industry City?
I think that we're definitely going to make it an annual event. I think we've already started talking about next year here and there, even a bigger space. You know, offering more vendors. You know, obviously you want to scale up in a way that makes sense. You know, we had plans for a bigger weekend, but we felt like it's our first one. Let's out of the gate. Let's do one really solid day. Let's make it happy. Let's make it great. Let's have people wanting more. And I think we've already created that vibe. So 100%. I think this is something that needs to live at Industry City.
I think, and someone in the comments, Vampire Robot said, like the NYC Kaiju cons of the 90s, we're finally glad to have something on the East Coast again. And I have to echo that sentiment because I'm sorry to say, that's the time I tapped out of going to cons in the late 90s. So I wasn't even aware that G-Fest was being held here in New York. And by the time I got back into Kaiju movies, it was already gone. So I'm really glad this is here. In terms of your own interests, in terms of what you're interested in yourself, this is a great time to be a Kaiju fan, especially a Godzilla fan, because in the next couple of months, we're going to be inundated with, we got Godzilla -1, we have Godzilla vs. Kong 2, I forget, some Empire.
New Empire,
New Empire,
New Empire. What else do we got?
The Apple Plus TV show, right?
Oh yeah. Monarch. So there's and then even with Kong, you see, I don't know. Does Kong fall into the category of kaiju, as he is an American creation, or are we classifying that as simply like monster movie versus kaiju?
Well, Kong is considered more of a titan. That's kind of the American term now. Is titan instead of kaiju. Yeah. But we can't forget about Ultraman too. Ultraman has a ton of stuff coming out. I mean, they're doing this really big stage performance at New York Comic Con this year, where they're bringing out suit actors from Japan. They're coming in they're bringing the kaiju with them. And they do these stage shows in Asia with these LED screens behind them, and it's all beautifully choreographed. This is the first time they're ever doing that here in the United States at New York Comic Con. Yeah.
I remember at New York Comic Con last year, I saw Ultraman, but he was kind of just there, really, against a tarp backdrop. Yeah. So it's cool that he's getting the upgrade this year. Gamera too. Someone mentioned Gamera Rebirth. That anime series on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's right, on Netflix.
Yeah, it was killer. I thought it was really good. Yeah. The animation, the creature designs, I thought they were flawless. I'm looking to more of that. Is there anything out there? So we mentioned a few, the big ones. The Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Gamera, Godzilla, of course. I guess Clifford the Big Red Dog someone wrote. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if Clifford counts. But anything out there that you would recommend that people may not know of that should dig and find out more about?
As Vampire Robots mentioned, Kamen Rider or Kamen Rider is another good one. Uh, I don't want to say Power Rangers. I want to say the Super Sentai shows,
Right.
which is what Power Rangers are adapted from. Those are good, but Power Rangers, they don't need no introduction here in the States. It's very well, people are very well versed.
Do you think people should check out the Super Sentai, the source material?
Absolutely. I mean, I watch it, and I watch Kamen Rider. I'm definitely watching Ultraman Blazar, which is new episodes every Friday on their on Ultraman YouTube channel. But those are the big ones. I mean, you got to remember these characters in Japan have been so big for so long that aside from Godzilla, American audiences now are just seeing what Ultraman really is and what
Right.
Kamen Rider really is.
So true.
Power Rangers they already knew, but even Godzilla's getting a much bigger push over here. So it's a great time to be.
The generation that grew up on Power Rangers is now old enough to start really exploring the source material and to dig a little bit deeper. You were watching Kaiju, you didn't even know it when you were a kid watching Power Rangers. You didn't like associate it necessarily, right? Now there's Titans and like it's all coming back. And so it's a really great time to get into it. I mean, certainly, I used to speak for myself. Like, I was watching Power Rangers as a kid. I didn't realize, that it wasn't necessarily an American show, that it was based on source material from Japan. And now it's like, it's so easy to have that entry point now with the internet and everything else and streaming. It's great. It's a great time.
You're absolutely right. So is Kamen Rider and Mask Rider the same thing, or are we talking about two different things?
No, that's the same thing. They imported it over here as Mask Rider because Kamen in Japanese basically means mask. But
okay.
It just sounds cooler to say Kamen Rider. It's a much cooler name.
It sure does.
Mask Rider.
Right. I was just recently watching. Was it Shin Mask Rider or Shin Kamen Rider on? I think it started on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
It was a live action. Ultra violent, I'll say.
Very
definitely entertaining.
Yeah, very ultra violent movie.
Is that par for the course of Kamen Rider?
Yeah, for that series it is. Early on the Kamen Rider shows, they sort of skewed very adult, very violent. But Ultraman sort of skewed more for kids, depending on which series it was. And then Ultraman started to copy Kamen Rider, but now Ultraman is starting to copy Kamen Rider in a way where it's getting a little bit more adult again, which is good for the brand. But I don't recommend Shin Kamen Rider for newbie because I would recommend watching the original series to get an idea where it's coming from, and then watch the movie.
That's a fair statement because it wasn't exactly a new user friendly show. It wasn't. You really.
Right.
It seemed like you had to know quite a bit about the franchise before you could really enjoy what was going on.
Right.
Guys, I apologize. I have to go. We have a show happening. I'm in the space right now. We're about a half hour out. But I just want to say thank you for having us, and thank you, John, everything for bringing Kaiju Brooklyn. But I have to say, what is that Robin you have behind you? Is that Superman? Is that a Robin action figure?
Yeah, that's a Burt Ward Robin. Yeah, nice.
No, just a big Robin fan. Nice to see him represented there on the bookshelf. That's all. I'll throw that in there.
Anthony, Anthony from BK1 Productions, thank you very much for taking the time to hang out with us, and good luck on your show.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys next week. I'm sure, John, I'll see you before then. Take care, guys.
Yeah, we will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I mean, that is pretty cool that you have such a good working relationship with Anthony and BK1 Productions. And I'm glad this show is really getting off the ground. I can't believe that you've done it in such a short amount of time. You mentioned that from July is the
late July. Because we were toying around with dates for a few weeks because Anthony had so much going on, and we solidified the date. I want to say like January 20 something. So literally, we announced the show like August 1st, and my entire month of August was a blur.
Right.
Just because I was creating content. I'm still creating content for the show, and now I got into a routine, and I'm kind of going to be sad when it's over because I really like doing it. It's a lot of fun, and again, I have the time to do it, but. The great thing is that, this is something I've always wanted to do, and we're hoping it's all a really good revenue stream for all of us because otherwise there's no incentive to do it, right? So if it's a good revenue stream for us this year, which it sounds like it is going to
Hmm.
be, we like Anthony mentioned, we continue doing it every year. We get bigger. We have a bigger space in mind. We have more vendors in mind. We can go and get guests from Japan. We could do panels. I mean, the world's our oyster. And, the idea, the hope is to do it full time. And I could sort of step away a little bit more from the day job and just sort of focus on this because, the day job in the movie business is pretty intense. So
Sure.
when it came time to do this show, it was like absolutely nothing. It really it was fun. I loved every aspect of it, even when it was stressful. I mean, the setbacks we have, like with the screening, it's just like that's like a Tuesday in the film business, or even like a Tuesday afternoon at 1:30. I mean,
Oh, well,
yeah.
you had that. Yeah, that I'm sure that experience helped you roll with the punches with that one then.
Oh
Uh,
my God, yeah, you have to roll the punches in
yeah.
the film business, and every time you don't is when you get frustrated and you kind of pay for it otherwise. So doing something like this was like nothing. And granted, Anthony is there with me, and he's doing a lot of the logistic work, like the tickets. He's got the venue. He's dealing with all that
Right.
side of it, which is ideal because I said I have all the resources. I have the people. I know where to reach out to them. I know all the social media groups to post in and it worked. And now we officially closed our pre-ticket sales because we are at capacity for the venue. Which
Oh,
even
very cool.
we're actually over capacity. So if everyone shows up at 10 a.m., please God don't. Uh, our fear is, the lines are on the block, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, that looks really
No,
good too.
no. I,
But tickets will still be available at the door. So I just want to put that out.
the fact that your pre-sales are done and you're at capacity for an event that started late July and in planning stages uh, speaks not only to the amount of work that you put into it, but also probably the response from the crowd, the need for or the desire to have a show like this in Brooklyn
Right.
or in the New York City area, really. I'm sure, like you said before, you grew up in the area, you went to the cons too. There was a while where they all just kind of, I think it was a tax thing at one point, but all the shows just kind of headed out. We used to get the horror, Fangoria, Horror Fest. We used to get all these great, all the Star Trek shows. We used to get them all.
Right.
And then over time they dwindled to nothing. And not knocking the bingo hall events and all that stuff. They're fun too. They're a great way to meet people and a great way to connect with people in the industry or people who are industry adjacent, but it is good to see these kind of specialty shows coming back. There was a short while where I thought Williamsburg, there was a place in Williamsburg called, I think it was called the Brooklyn Expo Center, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I had hopes for that was going to be the center for a lot of shows and conventions, and I think they sold about a year ago, probably a little more. I'm sure for real estate, they probably made more from
Right.
development than they are from making the shows. But and
Right.
I thought, all right, that's the end of it. That's it. There goes my hopes, my dreams for. But and then here you guys are. I swear to goodness, you're not going to believe this, but I remember one day I was talking to my son, and we were talking about kaiju's and talking about monsters, and I said, man, it'd be great if there was a show in the area. And we travel to Jersey, Connecticut. We'll go to the tri-state area. And then maybe within an hour or two, I saw your post about Kaiju
Wow.
Brooklyn. I was like, oh my, that is insane. That is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really good timing for everybody because I'm super psyched, and I think it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people who are interested because I'm just kind of getting back into it myself. I think Shin Godzilla here, a few other people,
Yeah.
but I really want to learn more about these other ones. I remember like when I got into Blind Melon. Remember
Of
Blind
course.
Melon in the '90s?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody liked the oh my gosh, the B song, No Rain. But then I got the album and I liked all the other songs on it. I'm
Right.
kind of hoping something like that is going to happen here. Where I love Godzilla, I think it's a great character, a lot of fun, but I want to see what else is out there.
Well, I'll say so. The good news is that, like you, I've been to a lot of conventions, and especially I've been going to conventions now for almost the last 10 years. Oh my God, I've been doing these shows, and a lot of these shows, the best ones are curated, the weakest ones are not curated, and I treated the show as somewhere a little bit in between, but much closer to the curation part of it because I could have had 9,000 Funko Pop vendors in there, or artists that were not up to the standards that I have, not only for myself, but for what I want to see at a convention.
Yeah.
So I made sure that out of the 20 vendors we have, or I should say exhibitors, we have 9 artists and 11 exhibitors, toy vendors. I made sure that each one, like at the artists, they had different styles. Like
Right.
no one draws like me, no one is doing 3D renders like Dope Hope, and on and on and on. And the toy vendors, I made sure as best as I could. There's going to be some overlap, but a lot of them have a lot of different stuff. Like someone would just have,
That's great.
the high end, the high end stuff. Someone will have more, entry level stuff. So it's going to be a nice mix. And do I wish we had tons of guests? Of course I do. But we just did it as, let's put a bunch of tables in the room, get artists that people want to see, toy vendors people want to buy from.
Yeah.
And let's just go. Let's see what we can do with it. And
I think you have the field of dreams mentality here, because I think you're building it, and people will come. People will come,
right.
and October 7th will come and go, and probably on the 8th, God willing, you'll be able to take a deep breath and relax
Right.
and enjoy yourself and look back. But I guarantee you, that's when the phone calls will start happening, and people who will hear about this event through social media, through whatever it is, then they'll say, what, I want to be involved with that. And year 2 is going to be everything that you just described. So
right.
I have high hopes for this. I do.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no. Your passion. First of all, you had me at Kaiju, but you won me at limiting and I could probably say this. I'm not sure how much you could say. I don't know what your stance is, but I'm so glad you're limiting the Funko Pop people. And listen, if you're out there and you're a Funko Pop person, God bless you. I read recently, someone said that Funko Pops are like the Beanie Babies of our generation, and I can't get that out of my head. And I'm like, and as I walk Comic-Con, there's Funko Pop, there's something unique, and there's a giant Funko Pop section. It's almost obscene at this point. So I'm glad. I'm sure there will be some, and you know what? That's great, because especially Kaiju Funko Pop are a little harder to get. You're not seeing them everywhere. So even if they do have them at the Kaiju Brooklyn on October 7th, it's not exactly, it's not going to be unwelcome, because we're not seeing this everywhere. It's not going to be 20 variations of Deadpool, So
right.
I wouldn't mind a Godzilla Funko Pop every now and again, but
yeah,
I'm glad you're curating, as you said.
I think it's important to do that. I think every show should strive to do that, because Funko Pops have their place. I know a guy I went to high school with owns he does very well. He has a Funko Pop store in Red Bank, New Jersey, next to Kevin Smith's shop.
Oh,
And and he's also has like baseball cards, and he's got a lot of other collectibles. But he does well, and good for him. That's his thing. It's not our thing. There's Funko Pop shows, like people can go to them.
I'm just saying, people are making claims that you are going to eject any and all Funko Pop dealers who sneak through. First of all, there's two things that will be hysterical about this. One is watching someone sneak through with Funko Pops trying to sell them. The other is you ejecting them. Both are visually entertaining in my mind.
Right. I mean, we don't have a contract like the convention 5 Points Festival that I do sometimes. They have a clause in their contract that once you sign it, in the contract it says we do not want Funko Pop vendors, and there's no Funko Pop at that.
Oh, get out of here, really?
Yeah, and it's an amazingly gorgeous show. It's so well curated, and every artist in there. There's some overlap with styles and what people are making, but it's a lot of designer toys, original artist toys, stuff like that. So that's in their contract. We didn't have that this year, and people are going to bring in a Funko Pop. That's inevitable, but we're not going to eject them. The whole thing is like, let's just get through this show and see what happens.
I'm picturing someone with a long brown trench coat opened up with Funko Pop boxes perfectly under their coat.
Yeah, selling it
in
the back of Sahadi's or something by the olive bar. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You want some Funko? Meet me outside. Meet me outside. Got a trunk full of them.
Yeah, maybe about the sake bar over there in Japan.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That would be like one of those left-handed compliments. I don't that people would be trying to sell things adjacent to your show. That'd be like, oh, that's how you know you made it.
Yeah.
That's how you know you made it. Yeah. You got the bootleggers outside, and
yeah, I like when you go to like a baseball game and a guy just scalping tickets right outside the door.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Like, oh, all right, that's good. Like, oh, it's terrible, but it's good at the same time.
Right,
It's a
yeah.
good thing. Yeah. No, I didn't know. Listen, I love going to New York Comic Con. I was excited. I got the tickets and everything this year, but my favorite part is Artist Alley. I love walking down. I always tell my son, I said, one of the greatest things I love about going to shows is when I go and I look down at the table and there's a comic on the table, and then I look up and I get to talk to someone who was instrumental in getting the book out there, a writer, an artist, whoever it is. I love that. Where sometimes, that kind of stuff gets a little lost at a big show like New York Comic Con, where they have a giant Geico RV parked in the middle of the damn place.
Yeah, I never understood that.
I'm not sure.
I never understood that. Yeah,
I'm sure they pay well, and that's probably the gist. But I don't understand is people waiting online to get the damn Geico, what is it, Gecko Beanie Baby or whatever it is that they're giving out. I just don't get, like, you paid all this money, waited all this time. I see people wait on lines that wrap around the block to come into Comic Con. Yeah. And you're waiting online to get maybe a gecko with a cape on it. I don't get it. It has zero value. You're not going to use it again. I don't get it. Yeah. So I always shoot right for. I love. I do the floor. And I shoot right for Artist Alley because that's just the best. So I'm looking forward to going to Kaiju Brooklyn on October 7th to see some of these writers and artists. So I think that's going to be cool. Were you able to get any? Because I know Godzilla and Kong. Oh, I forgot to mention this before too. They're making their way into the comics into DC.
Oh, I know.
I know. I mean, Godzilla romped and stomped his way through the Marvel universe before, and technically, like, there's a variation of Godzilla still around. They kept the lizard but changed the name because of copyright law. So now he's coming into Legendaries, bringing those characters into the DC universe. So that's something else to be excited for. Are there going to be any comic or manga people at the show?
Yes.
Vendors?
Yeah.
I meant vendors.
Yes. Artist Jeff Zorno. Most people know him from the IDW Godzilla comic series.
Oh, wow.
He's going to be there. What's his title? Concept artist and like creature artist Dope Pope is going to be there. And Dope Pope has worked on the Legendary films. He designed a lot of Titans, and he's worked on Marvel films. Those are the two biggest guys. I had two other.
Those are big hits.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to have them both. I had three really nice pro comic guys alongside Jeff Zorno reach out to me, like after the fact, after I sold out the vendor tables, and all three of these guys worked on the Godzilla books for IDW. And I have an open dialogue with one of them, the really great guy, and they want in on it, but unfortunately, like I said, the show is sold out. But next year, if we go bigger, I'm going to need more artists.
Right.
They're like good guys to bring down. So.
Right.
So.
Right now, yeah.
No, I was going to say. So right now, those are the most popular names I have.
Those are big names.
Other artists I have. Yeah, no, we're like I said, we're really excited about it. And we also have Ultraman Connection will have a booth there, and Ultraman Connection is the official English language website for Ultraman here in the United States. So they'll be there spreading the gospel of Ultraman, and sort of trying to get people into the character and tell everyone what's going on. And so we're excited to have them as well. And we also have Showa Robo, which is like they sell a lot of like tin robot toys, like vintage toys from Japan.
Wow.
But they're filming a documentary called Mint in Box, and they're actually going to film it at Kaiju Brooklyn, so people have to sign waivers. And we're really excited about that. And then they're going to go to Japan and finish the rest of the film over there. So they're using Kaiju Brooklyn as like, hey, like, this is what we do this for, and this is like the people that buy, and this is the fandom. And
you really are going. You really are going all out on your first show. That's unbelievable.
But none of it was expected, though. I thought I was going to be able to get maybe like 10 people, like a bunch of artists, a couple toy vendors. And when Anthony said, "Oh, we can get 20 tables in here," I said, "Okay." And I just reached out, to the people. I sort of been teasing this to people I'm friends with, and when I announced it, I said, "All right, you guys are in," and they said, "Yeah, we're all in." But the mint in box was suggested to me by Vampire Robots Toys. He was the one that brought them to my attention,
Oh,
and then plus, like I said, the resources that I had, like with Ultraman. And the other cool thing is when we screened Shin Ultraman, they asked us if we could just film like reactions
right.
and film people reacting to the movie and maybe do like an after thing of what did you think of the movie? And some kid says I love it, and film some of the cosplay, and then they're going to cover our event on their website and show the footage on the official Ultraman website, the Ultraman YouTube channel as well. So they're very excited about this show. They're looking at it as hopefully something they could be more involved with, yearly, and have, use us to have like a bigger foothold in New York. And, I know I have the eyes of the other Kaiju IP owners on us as well. So, the difficult thing to sort of go back to what you were saying earlier about, year two and all this stuff, what we found with this show was it's hard to sell something to people that hasn't happened yet,
Hmm.
right? So it's
Sure.
kind of like this feeling of, oh my God, we have X amount of people coming. We have all these vendors and artists with expectations like, holy crap, like this has to be a good show. And, at some point, it's out of your hands. There's nothing you can really do about it
Yeah,
besides
yeah,
just promote
but
it. And I'm sorry,
right.
go ahead.
No, no, but I think you have a leg up on this because not only do you understand the industry, not only do you understand as a fan, so you've got both sides of it. You have years of experience as an attendee. You
Right.
know what shows you like, you know what you don't like, what you do like. So you get to emulate that. You get to say, okay, this is really good. I don't like this. And you already mentioned the idea of like contracts and what you don't want, what you do want at the shows. And now on top of that, you have that industry side where you do have that experience that you bring. So you're bringing both, I think, uh, and plus more, I'm sure. But these two aspects alone are so important to what you're doing, and I don't think that you're giving yourself enough credit, John, because you're doing a phenomenal job, and you've created something very literally out of nothing in
Right.
less than 3 months, uh,
Yeah.
it's going to be a heck of a thing. I do have to ask, as someone who, as a dad who gets busy doing this and that, soccer games here, working on weekends sometimes. Right now, Brooklyn Kaiju, or Kaiju Brooklyn, excuse me, is on October 7th. Next year, is there any idea that you've given? Now, I know you're focused on the 7th,
Right.
October 7th, but I'm pretty sure I think you know where I'm going with this. Is
Yes.
there any chance that next year we're looking at possibly a 2-day show?
Absolutely. Originally, we wanted to do a 3-day show,
Oh,
and reaching out to my contacts at Superaya, we had over 18 hours of content to screen, of just Ultraman content alone, not to mention what we can get from the Godzilla people. But like Anthony said, it's our first year, and
hmm,
I've seen, we've all seen these shows that start up and they spend way too much money, and I had the opportunity to bring guests out from Japan, and I said I would love to because I have the right connection. Like I have the right connection for all this, which is why I came together so easy. But I said I don't want these people flying 17 hours for a 1-day show that we don't really know.
hmm.
So let's hold off. So yes, we do. We would like to do a 2-day event next year. I think 3-day, if 3-day might be like year 4 or 5. I don't know. I'd love to get there, but I'm I'm one to start small and get bigger. But definitely 2 days. We have some sort of ideas of what time of year to do the show in. We're also thinking, do we do the show twice a year as 1-day shows, or just save it all for a big weekend? I don't know.
Mm,
I know there are shows like in Jersey that go every month, which I think is a little much, like
hmm.
a lot of toy
Right.
shows. And there's shows like Monster Mania. They'll do 4 shows a year, but I think it's
Different
one in
locations.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different locations, sort of in the same corridor,
Yeah.
but
Maybe no. Someone wrote in the comments, baby steps. You are doing it right. And Monster. Oh, you go to Monster Mania too, by the way. It's a great
yeah.
show. I like it. But you know what? I like it differently depending upon what venue I'm at.
Right.
I've driven to the Pennsylvania show, and I enjoyed that a heck of a lot more because the venue at Cherry Hill, which is the one I went to predominantly, uh, by noon you can't breathe, you
Oh,
can't move.
you got to
And
park like 2 miles away. I mean, it's horrible.
yeah, so oh right, that too. Yeah, absolutely. But I I do think there's potential, like you said, down the line. I think you're doing it smart. You don't want to exasperate your resources. You don't want to overplay your hand just yet. You've got a good thing, and it's better to build than it is to kind of have to take it down. You know.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, you did it the right way. You did it a smart way.
Yeah.
And I think this, like I said, and I'll probably say it a thousand times more. I think there's so much potential for Kaiju Brooklyn on October 7th to just keep going, keep expanding, and it is so like you mentioned too. Industry City is a great place. Um, Parking's good, I think, right?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah. Well,
giant parking lot.
yeah, that's the appeal. I mean, it is a paid parking lot, but you pay for the day,
Yeah.
and it's a big lot. And there's also, I want to say park at your own risk, but a few buildings down, there's a giant parking lot that's free that people can park at as well. It's a parking lot for,
Was that Beyond Center?
yeah, it's where Bed Bath Beyond is.
Yeah.
It's at the end of Industry City, like if you're going north.
Yep.
I think it's on like
Is
37th Street or
that
38th.
did that close down? I don't know.
Bed Bath
I
Beyond
think
closed. Yeah, that closed down, but Micro Center still open,
that,
World Market, and that's when I go to Industry City. That's usually where I park, and I just walk down.
right.
But I say park at your own risk because I don't know what time they close that
Yeah.
lot. You know,
I'm sure paying the park is a lot easier than getting your car towed and trying to figure out what the hell it is.
right.
So
Well,
I'll pay.
there's no there's no risk for that because I do it all the time. It's just
Yeah.
if people stay past like 7 o'clock, I don't know if they close that parking lot when
Right.
those stores close because they have a gate that is like a rolling gate.
Oh, okay.
But there is also neighborhood parking. But yes, the
Right,
parking lot.
right.
The parking lot was the big appeal because when I would do shows, when I would do 5 Points at the Brooklyn Expo Center, it's Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I mean, there's no parking in Greenpoint,
Yeah.
Brooklyn. You know, you have to unload over there and then go find parking. It's street parking. There's no parking garage. And it's the same thing in Bushwick. That's why I didn't want to do anything in Bushwick because there's no parking. And
Right.
you're asking, you're asking people to come to a show and there's no accommodation for them to park anywhere. It's kind of frustrating.
Hey, listen. So now we can park at Industry City. We can walk over to the Beyond Center, and I think that Captain America statue's still there, so we can go see that, and then we can
Absolutely.
head back to the show. So this is very cool, and I'm so glad you're doing this. If for anyone out there who's listening, and for anyone who's going to be watching this in the repeat, I'll say, or the replay, how can we find out more information about this show?
Instagram is the best bet. That seems to be getting the most engagement out of all the social media platforms we're using. It's funny because I'll post on Instagram and get tons of engagement, tons of likes,
Right.
eyeballs on the reels. And Facebook, it's like one like or something. But it's weird. We have followers. It's just anyway. It's just
don't feel bad. I posted something on TikTok. It got 2 million views, and on Facebook, my mom liked it. So don't.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird business, but
I don't think the crowd you want anyways, and Facebook is not where the 30-something-year-olds are anymore, so don't put too much thought into that. It's not really a missed opportunity for you. I think, like you said, Instagram is the algorithm is on Facebook.
Yeah, so they can find me at either Facebook or Instagram at Kaiju Brooklyn, Kaiju, and the word Brooklyn is one word. I am on Twitter. It's Kaiju BK. You can find me there. Twitter, I don't know. Twitter's Twitter.
Right.
But
right.
Instagram, what I love about Instagram is that it's all there, right? And you can just scroll and you can see everything. Whereas Facebook and Twitter, Twitter's not friendly like that to find information. It's good for updates, but not info. And Facebook, again, you have to scroll through this whole feed where that's what I love about Instagram. It's all right there, almost like a portfolio, It's like, oh, okay, here's this artist they have and this vendor. So Instagram is probably the best way to find out any information about us.
All right. I mean, you already have people in the comments saying they want a shirt. You got to save them a shirt.
Yeah, we have, so I'm bringing my Ultraman shirts, which I'm excited about. But we made official Kaiju Brooklyn t-shirts. It just came in yesterday, so we'll be
Oh,
selling
nice.
those as well. Yeah, yeah.
I'll be sure to pick up one.
Yeah, limited to 100. It's only $25 each, and silk
Oh,
screen. They look great.
yeah, yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
I think these are smart ways to go about it. You know, take some footage, like you said, from the show, put it out there on Reels, put it out there on
yeah,
Instagram, TikTok. People walking around with those shirts. Hey, where'd you get that? You know, you're
right,
going about it all the right way.
right.
This is all a recipe for success. And John, I wish you all the best in the world, and I can't wait to meet you in person at the show on October 7th, right here in Brooklyn, in Industry City. So Kaiju Brooklyn is coming up, and if you haven't already bought your tickets, head over to the website. Is it possible to still get tickets?
No,
Do
like
you think
I
so?
said, no, we
Buy
had
them.
to close it. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you can only get them at the door. We, like I
All right.
said, we sold beyond capacity for the venue. So in order to not get shut down by the fire marshal,
Mm.
voluntarily, we had to close sales. So they will be available at the door, and it's an all-day event. So if you come and it's packed, you know, go, like I said, go get loaded up on sake at the sake festival, then come back and hang out with
Man,
us. That's it.
I took my wife years and years ago. I think my brother was there too. We went to Comic Con, New York City Comic Con,
Yeah.
and we went out for lunch, and we couldn't get back in. The fire department had shut it down,
Oh,
or at least
jeez.
shut down any more people coming in. So at least if that happens here, we got a lot of places we could go and check out in the interim. But I don't anticipate, like you said, unless everybody's coming at exactly 10 a.m.
Right.
Which, by the way, I got to tell you, that's the kind of guy I am. You know, if a show starts,
Same here. Yeah, same here.
show starts at 10. I've been parked since 8, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I wish you all the luck in the world, all the
Thank you.
success.
Thank
And the show sounds great. Anthony sounds like a great partner to team up with
He
from
is,
Brooklyn
yeah.
One Productions.
you. Yes.
So until then, until we meet on October 7th at Kaiju Brooklyn, I'll be following you on Instagram and looking for some amazing updates. And that's
Awesome.
what.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have my booth will be right in the front. You'll see my booth as soon as you walk in on the left side.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by, and thanks for telling us all about the show.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I'm able to come on and just promote the good word of Kaiju. And I really look forward to meeting you in person.
Same here. Same here. Well, thank you, brother. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for checking out Nerds Night Out. Be well. Stay safe. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Don't know how to stop it. Just pressing buttons.